Today we're learning how to make this gorgeous shoulder bag. This is in a heavy cotton checkmate and I've used a black cotton lining. First off, head over and print out all of your pattern pieces. It will have come as a file all together and this is how the pattern will look. You're going to need your main fabric and you're also going to need a lining fabric as well. This is what your pattern pieces will look like once you've taped them all together, and seam allowance is included. So if you go ahead and cut out all of these pattern pieces and do the same for your fabric pieces as well. So follow the instructions. It tells you on there how many pieces you need of your main fabric and your lining, and we are just going to start now. This is with the main fabric, so I'm going to take the main fabric piece and the side panel piece here and I'm going to attach it all around the outside. Pin in place, just be extra careful to put some extra pins on those corners because they can twist a little bit, so this is just why I'm adding a few extra pins all around here. Now head over to your sewing machine and stitch in place with a 1 centimetre seam allowance, just like this. And now what we're going to do is we are going to grab the other piece, so the other main body piece here, so the same as what we've just attached, and we are going to pin them right sides together and we're going to do the exact same process. So make sure that you pop extra pins at the corners as well. You can always attach the top sections first so you know everything's going to line up if that is easier, but I know it's the perfect fit, so I'm just going to go ahead and pin everything in place like we did before. Just like this. And now we're going to head over to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch all around with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. Here we go. Now it's all sewn up together. This is the main body part, and what we have to do is do the exact same thing here for the lining fabric. If it's like mine, it's a bit more glossy for the lining fabric, so I've used a polyester satin for this one because it's just nice and soft inside, so it can be a little bit more fiddly to sew with, so just be extra careful if this was your choice. If you're a beginner, then definitely use a 100% cotton or a poly cotton. Here we are leaving a gap of approximately 5 centimetres. If you struggle, you can leave a little bit more of a gap. This is where we're going to pull the bag the right way around, so make sure you've got a reasonable gap there. And here we go, it's all sewn together and this is the gap that you're going to see. I always do around 5 centimetres and I always have a little bit of a fight with myself to pop it around the right way, so you could save that and add yourself a little bit more. Here we go. Now we're going to work on the straps. These are the strap pieces here and we are going to place them down and we're going to put them right sides together and pin everything in place. We're going to stitch these together with a 1 centimetre seam allowance on each side, but we're not going to be stitching the ends closed here, so make sure you leave both of the end sections open because this is how we are going to pull the strap back through. And here we have it. Now we get to do the really fun bit. We're going to pull everything back through one side like this. This can take a little bit of time and it is quite fun. You can use a knitting needle or something else to help you along, but I find with the big straps you can just get your hand in there and pull it through. This is really fun. If you've not made a scrunchie, this is how you make a scrunchie as well. So here we go. Now we're going to pin the straps in place, so we're going to turn the main body fabric right side in like this, so the wrong side of the fabric is facing out, and we are going to attach the corners here and we're going to make sure everything matches up and you'll see it's the perfect fit, and we're going to pin those in place there on both sides. Just make sure that your strap is not twisted when you do this or you will have a twisted strap, so make sure you do that there as well and pin everything in place nicely. Now we're going to head over to the machine and using a 0.5 approximate seam allowance, we're going to just stitch these in places here. This is just to hold them in place so that it's easier to do the lining. You can skip this step if you are an experienced sewer. And here we go. So these are nicely attached and securely in place. Now it's time to attach the lining bit here. So we're going to take our lining piece like this and we're going to do it right sides out so that both right sides of the bag are facing together, and we're going to match up these sections with the strap section here, and we're going to do the same all the way around. Be very careful when you're pinning everything in place. Just be very aware and make sure all of your seams are matching up. All of the seams here are at the strap sections here, so I'm pinning these 4 points in place first, and there we go. Now we pin everything else in place just like this. Now we are going to head over to the machine and we are going to use a 1 centimetre seam allowance again all around the edge here. Trim away any excess fabric here and you'll have a lot more fraying if you've used a polyester or satin lining like I have. If you've used a cotton, you probably won't have too much to trim away, but this just makes the bag fall nicely inside and you don't have all of these threads popping through. Here we go, nice and neatly all trimmed up here, and this is the fun part. We get to find that 5 centimetre gap, or a little bit more if you've decided to be a little bit more sensible, and we are going to pull the bag through here. I always find the strap first, so if you find the strap you can then pull the strap all the way through just like this, and it comes out nice and easily, and this is when you really start to see your bag coming together. This always takes a little bit of time, so please be patient. It's not as quick as this, and here we go. We're going to pop the lining flat and pin it in place. This is the closing, that 5 centimetre section that we had. We are going to stitch that as close as we can to the edge, just like this. Now you're going to really see your bag coming together now. This is the lining side, and just make sure you trim away any excess threads, and we're going to push this inside the main panel of the bag here, and now your bag's really coming into a bag. Look how cute it's starting to look. Here we go, and we're going to push all these seams in and make sure everything's neat. What the best thing to do is to head over to the iron now and iron everything nice and flat. Here we go, just like this, nice and ironed, all pressed, looks perfectly like a bag. And this here is an additional step if you want to do it. You can head over to the machine, and the whole entire top section here we can do a top stitch, and we do it quite close to the edge, as close as you would like, normally about 0.2, 0.3 away from the edge, and this just holds everything in place. It just means that it stays nice and crisp and you won't have bits of the black lining popping out. You could even turn the bag round if you felt like it. So here we go, let's head over to the machine and see what it looks like when we've popped that top stitch on there. Just be extra careful when you're going over the strap sections, as there is a lot more fabric there to work with, and make sure you stay on the base bit of the bag and don't go onto the strap section. Here we go, we've got this beautiful top stitch all the way around the top, and it just makes it look so professional. If you wanted to start making these, it looks so much better. It looks so much like you've bought it from a shop if you pop a nice top stitch on there. And as you can see, it looks so smooth, so neat, and just such a great way to finish off your bag. And now you have this gorgeous bag all to yourself, and you can say you made this. Head over to my Instagram at Blaize Uniques and share your makes, and share with me what you thought. What else would you like me to start making? What patterns would you like? Is there anything you'd like to see? Yeah, let me know.